Okay, I'm going to be starting again on my 11-inch by 14-inch stretch canvas. Nice standard size, not too big, not too small. And this time no traceable. I'm going to go ahead and lay this out by hand, and I'm going to take just a regular pencil and just kind of map out where I generally want things. I'm going to go down on this side here. Let's see, about a third of the way, maybe like this. Okay, for some little hill right here. And maybe, I don't know, if you want to divide this up into like 6 parts here, I'm thinking about a sixth of the way, maybe right here. Okay, and so, see, I'm going to go something like maybe right here. Okay, not too critical. It's all good. It's a landscape, as you know. And of course I can change it when I start painting. This is just a basic layout, okay? Maybe I have a little hillside here, okay, and I'll just kind of do something like this. Kind of dips a little bit, just slightly, just to kind of give that sort of flowing motion where the river's kind of flowing downhill a little bit. Okay, and I'm looking down the river like this. Kind of have that kind of lay in there like that. And then I'm going to go a little bit this way to the left, off center just a bit. Okay, put a little mark there, and right there, just kind of do something where I get some brush that kind of runs up. We'll see, maybe down, and then it just kind of jogs down. I don't know, something like this. So to start off on my palette, I'm going to have some raw umber, some phthalo blue, little violet, some burnt umber, permanent red, cat orange, yellow medium, and of course titanium white as always. So I'm going to have my number 22 angle brush. I'm going to start filling in the sky with a general blue value here. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of phthalo blue. Okay, maybe just a teeny bit of red. Red's kind of a duller in this case. Okay, I'm going to take some titanium white. And let's see. Kind of looking for maybe something like this to start with, okay? Just this general blue value here. I'm just going to block in the sky for now with this. Okay, so as Bob Ross would say, I'm just kind of doing a crisscross motion, and he's right, because see all these broken lines when I do that crisscross motion as opposed to using the edge of the brush and doing a hard line. It's hard to blend hard lines. Okay, hard lines, hard to blend. We'll just make that a motto, I guess. So breaking it up like this just makes it easier to blend into that stuff, okay? Because what I want to do now, I want to take a lot of that paint off the brush, and I want to take just titanium white to brighten this color up. Okay, I'll mix a little of this blue in, and I like to mix it next to it to see the value change, so I know how much of a change it's going to make and how dramatic and sudden I want it, or subtle. And so that really helps me to do that. And of course I can always adjust it on the canvas, but right here I just want to see it, and I'm thinking something like that. Okay, a little bit lighter. I'm going to start down before this value, crisscross those strokes as I bring it up, and right here, very little pressure with the brush, and I can just blend very soft. Okay, just like that. Okay, if you live somewhere really dry, like say Utah or maybe out in Arizona, and things just dry like in a split second, you might want to add a little bit of water, maybe a water bottle to mist it, maybe to keep it wet. There's also mediums you can buy that keep the paint wet longer if you need to. Okay, check into that if you have to. Yeah, I live in the tropics, so it's humid a little bit, and so I don't know, maybe I don't have to clean as often, but the techniques are pretty much the same. Okay, I'm just gonna take this lighter value, because of course, as you know, when you get towards the horizon, it always gets lighter, and that gives us our realistic looking sky instead of just one flat dead color that's not changing anywhere. Okay, it just kind of looks cartoony and flat. I want to get this realism in here and get this blend. Okay, a little bit of blue that snuck out of my brush there. That's okay. I'm just going to get some white, and I'll just mix right on the canvas. See that? And settle that right down, and now we're the right value. Okay. Just laying more paint down right here. A little bit more white on my brush. And I'm just going to continue just kind of something like this. Okay, and of course, if I get too light up in here, I can always take this darker value and blend back this way and just work them back and forth until they transition where I want them to be. All good. Acrylics are your best friend. So much flexibility, so much availability. It's just anything, anytime. You can change it, you can enhance it, make it whatever you want. Okay, a little more white down in here. Of course, I can always bring my mountain up a little higher to cover this darker stuff to make it really look like it's getting lighter towards the mountain. Okay, whatever. Again, change it, make it however. Okay, I'm just gonna do some more soft blends, like up in here, maybe a little bit. Okay, just kind of bringing that up very gradually. And again, I can always take this darker stuff and bring it down, which I think I'm gonna do just a little bit. So no cleaning. Look at, I'm just gonna take this darker value here, this more saturated stuff. Okay, and watch. I can just bring it right back down. Okay, that easy. Boom. All good. Okay, so this is a really great piece for blending and really getting gradients and doing things, you know, for transition and all that. It's just a great place to practice, and you can do it as many times as you want. Like I said, build up the layers, bring them back and forth, have fun, experiment, and really make this a practice place for you to really learn. And there's really, you know, there's no blowing it. There's no, oh, well, I did too many mistakes and practiced too much, I have to get a new canvas. No. You just keep going. And it never, no one will ever believe you had to practice if that's what you had to do, or how many changes you had to make, or how many mistakes may have happened along the way. No one will ever know. As Bob Ross would say, that's our secret. All right. Well, think you're a professional. Okay, acrylics, they just make you shine. They just kind of do it for you. They just have that nature. Okay, I'm just getting more titanium white again. See that? I'm changing the flavor again because I want to take some of this white and just kind of make it soft again. Just kind of give that nice haze. Okay, I'm thinking something like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush off. Okay, I have here my number 8 natural round bristle brush. These natural hog bristles are excellent for clouds, which I'm going to start putting in here now. And so now what I want to do is I want to get more of that same value, but I want to get a little bit more red into it. Okay, just to change it up. See, I have to have these show up, and they're going to have kind of this darker value like this. See that? Just different than all of this. Let's see, let's get a little bit more red. Maybe I'll even get a little violet too. What the heck? Okay, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'll mix in with some of this because it's going to be kind of the sky kind of showing through the clouds, you know, kind of maybe something like that. And of course I can change it up. And let's see, I want to go just kind of something. Let's see. It's not really going to show up just yet because I'm going to line it with some white to get these real nice liners in here, silver linings on the clouds. So I'm going to bring this over. Okay, you can make these clouds however you want. And as Bob Ross, I love Bob Ross. I always refer to him, as you can see. He would always say, happy little clouds, and wherever you put those, that's exactly where they should live. So I'm going to pick a spot, and I'm going to create a place for them to live. Okay, so just like that, these natural bristles, and the key is dry, no water at all. That's what you want on a natural bristle brush to get those cloud effects really good in here. Okay, so I know you can't see them very well right now, but they will show up. And let's see, let's get some more of that, and I'm going to put that right up in here. There's one that's kind of coming up right here, just like this. Okay, I'm just going to use the bristles and fade these off. It gives that natural cloud look automatically. All right, just like that. Okay, and I'll come up with the hill here a little bit to cover that up to make it look like the clouds behind it, so it's not too critical. I'm just going to bring it down to about this general, you know, location here. Okay, see that? Nice little cloud effect here. Super effective, these bristle brushes. I tell you, they do some things. And I know you can barely see this right now. It's all good because I'm going to change this up. Okay, I'm just getting some general value where it goes. I'm gonna really light these up here in just a moment. Okay, so I'm thinking something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush. I wanna get that violet bluish color off of there. You really want them super dry, okay? You wanna, I guess as Ross would say, beat the devil out of it. Get all that moisture out of it. Okay, use a cloth, use an old shirt if you're wearing one. Okay, do whatever you gotta do. Get those bristles really super dry. Now, without adding anything, I'm just gonna take white, okay, just a little bit. And let's see, I wanna go right here and just kind of do the silver lining kind of thing here. See this? And actually, you know what? I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and grab a smaller brush because I can get more detailed in here. And I'm going to set this off to the side. Okay, I have a number 2 nylon flat brush. The bristles are a little beat up, and I'm going to use it kind of like this natural bristle brush to do cloud effects, which I can still do. And it's going to help me get some more detailed, controlled kind of areas where I just want to do some linings on the clouds. So let's try that again. I'm going to go some titanium white. So you just try brushes. Use the one you're comfortable with. There's no, industry rule that says you got to do it this way and you got to have a license. Whatever. Have fun. Be the artist you want to be. Create the way that you want to create. These are just examples. This is just demonstration, and this is what I do. And I want to share this with you guys. Okay, so I can get more controlled, as I said, with this smaller brush here. So I'm just going to go around just kind of like that and kind of lay in these little liners like this. See this? Okay, just really, and again, a dry brush. That's the key. And I can fade these, okay, and get that cloud effect. Okay, look at it, just like that. See that? That lining is starting to happen now. Super simple. Just put a little bit of paint on the brush. That's the key. Very, very little paint. Okay, when we're blocking in, it's good to put a lot of paint and get the ground covered, but when it comes to these effects, just a little paint at a time for the effects. You can always add more paint, but too much paint will render a mess and kind of kill the effect in a way, and then you got to go back and cover it up, which is fine, but it just, takes a little bit more time. You end up using more paint, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to take that right here. Okay, go down right here. I want this down under the horizon where the mountain's going to be, coming up to it. So it's behind the mountain. It's just kind of coming over it like this. Okay, something like that. And let's see, I'm going to say like this. Okay, a little bit more paint on the brush. I want to get a little bit more opaque in some areas because, again, with things in the realistic world, you don't want everything the same. You want some things faded, some things more opaque. It really shows the volume and the depth of the cloud that way and gives it all of its 3D effect and, all those things. So definitely want to do it and mix it up with all the different effects and the strengths to be all different. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna go, let's see, around this one here. I know you can't really see it, but it'll start to happen here in just a minute here. Let's see, let's go like that. Okay, and I want to keep the brush moving. I don't want to stay in one place, or I will actually make maybe more cotton ball looking things instead of cloud effects. And of course it takes it out and gives it that blended look, or where it fades off like a cloud does. And I might change the cloud, or I'm sorry, the sky around the cloud just to kind of make it different than this. Okay, gotta have some differences here. I want to make it look like clouds with some of the sky kind of reflecting through it, but not make it the actual color of the sky. So let's see, let's get some of that liner around here. Just remembering the words from Ross, man. I really love that guy. You know, even if he were alive today, he'd be a very old man by now, anyways. But it's sad that he passed when he did. It was, I think, a little too early. Tribute to you, Mr. Ross. All right. Thank you for all of your tutorials and the joy of painting that you've shared in the past. I thank you for that. Thank you, Lord, for Bob Ross. All right, I'm gonna get some of this blue, some of this white. As I said, I want to change up the sky just a little bit. See? Okay, like this. And we'll see. Maybe just something lighter. Okay. Just kind of wanted to get kind of something around, well, let's see. A lot of that paint off the brush. I just kind of wanted to get something lighter. Just a little bit around some of this sky here, okay? Just kind of more of a haze. It kind of makes the cloud come alive a little bit right there. Okay, gives it more haze up in here. I don't know, whatever, just kind of mixing it up. You can always change it, like I said. Okay, just using the side of the brush, just kind of rubbing this out. Okay, something like that. We got a nice little cloud deal there. And let's see, I'm gonna go a little bit of red and purple, or violet, I should say. Okay, that's the technical name, I guess. All right, let's get some of that blue in there. See that? It just kind of changes up the flavor. It's a little bit darker of a cloud. Maybe it was raining and then the clouds broke up and we got a little bit of a darker cloud out here. See that? Okay, there we go. Now I'm thinking something like this. It just changes it up and gives it more of a cloud look this way. It brings it out some more. See, we can see that better. I'll even put some of that in here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, maybe something like that. Maybe some of that in here. Just some dark shadow areas. Clouds got to have those shadow areas, as you know. You look at clouds. Okay, just kind of adds more dimension and depth that way. Okay, maybe a little bit in here. Okay, just mixing that up, getting those to show up. Okay, I'm going to clean this brush off. Okay, after cleaning this brush and really dry, because I don't want to pull any paint off or slice through it, I want it to lay down good. I'm just going to get pure titanium white. Okay, I want more of this opaque white in here to really pop out of here. So, like right in here, you can see a lot heavier with my paint here. And I'm not laying down a whole ton. I'm not pushing real hard with the brush. Just kind of letting the bristles kind of gently sweep over like this. See that? And I'm gonna wipe some of that paint off. Don't want it too much because then it gets too messy. Yeah, just kind of want to work with what's here. A little bit more white. Okay, I'm gonna hit not all of it, as the motto goes, here and there, but not everywhere. And letting other values and effects and strengths play with other ones so that we get this variety and realism to come to life here. And that's what it's all about. You gotta have the differences. Okay, a little bit of this more stronger lining in there. Okay, and just kind of twirling the brush like this. More of that pigment on my brush. I want to get, again, more of that to show up in here. Okay, anything you want to do. Okay, leaving these breaks in here really shows the cloud. Okay, getting more realism involved with that. Okay. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush. And I don't want to go out here too much on the edge. I just kind of want to blend it in here. Okay, just kind of like that, leaving those openings. Kind of fading that off, okay? Okay, something like that. I'll even put, let's see, a little bit more white. I'll even put one, let's see, one right here. Why not? Okay, more white. Okay, I'm thinking something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush. I'm gonna take a little bit of this red, and it's got a little bit of that violet in there, just a little bit, and let's take some titanium white. Okay, so it kind of has this reddish kind of hue to it like this, see that? And right where the dark value here meets the white, I want to go right here and kind of add this nice little shine in here. Let's see, I want to actually, let's add a little bit more red into that, just a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, let's see. And maybe a little tiny bit of violet to that. Okay, so I want it to the red side with this violet kind of deal. It's kind of like a deep violet when you have that reddish violet, as it's called. I'm just kind of making my own here. I do have deep violet, but how many people have deep violet? Everybody's got red and violet though, or some kind of purple. You can make it too with blue and red if you don't have that. There's so many ways. Do what you need to do. It's all picture filters at this point. Everything will work together. Putting the values where they generally go, it'll be beautiful. So don't worry about that. Okay, a little bit of paint on the brush. I'm gonna go have this show up a little bit stronger. Okay, yeah, like that. See that? I'm gonna go right there. That's gonna really light this off. Kind of set it off like that. Okay, just kind of doing these things. Okay, just kind of something like that. Really brings a nice glow into this cloud here. Really lights it up a little bit. Okay, and maybe some of that in here a little bit. I don't know, just kind of dancing it around. Okay, just kind of skipping it around, letting it have fun, do its thing. Just kind of letting it do what it wants. And it just kind of gives that look. And just kind of something like that. You know, I don't do these paintings and then come back and do tutorials. I do them in real time. So I'm literally going through this and figuring it out with you. And we're doing this together pretty much in real time. I mean, I don't study it first. I mean, I look at the color scheme and of course I look at that, but I don't do the painting ahead of time and then go, okay, this is how I did it. I'm like, no, this is how I'm going to do it. This is where I think that I should go next. That's why you see me switching brushes sometimes. When I use one, I'll say, no, actually not that brush, or I'll change a color, be like, actually, I want to add this value instead. But that's what it's all about. It's an experiment and it's fun. It should be totally fun. It shouldn't be stressful. The journey should be enjoyable because it's kind of like, let's see what we can create together. Let's see how this turns out. And I love it because every time I do a painting, I always feel like I learn something new every time. I always see a color scheme or a way to put colors together that's going to do something. And then next time I'm like, you know what? I know what to do here. It worked last time there, and it always does. Usually. That's the key word, usually. Because it's an ongoing thing, and I love that. As soon as it's not ongoing anymore, it kind of gets old because then it becomes the same thing all the time, and then you're just getting bored. It's like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I know. But I like to discover. I love the discovery of painting. That's what keeps me going. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush. I'm gonna go with that. And let's see. What I'd like to do is take some lighter value and go into here since we're at the horizon where this cloud is, so it's not just abruptly changing. And I want to take some white, okay, into that kind of cloud color here. Okay, to lighten that up. And I just want to go watch something kind of like this. Again, where it gets kind of lost in the cloud here, or the horizon, you know what I mean? As we get closer to the horizon, things get brighter and they start to get swallowed up by the sky to show distance and all that. Okay, so I just want to knock that back a bit right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean that now. And let's see, one more time. It's all about layers. Everything gets neater, things get more smooth, and colors come out more. So let's get some more white with a dry brush. Clean, dry, number 2 flat brush here. And I want to go back in here and kind of pop some brighter stuff here. Okay, just kind of bringing this down. I don't want to take over everything. See that? I got that faded stuff right here and really opaque in here. I want to kind of fade it off into this faded stuff already and give that natural cloud look. So very little pressure with the brush after I lay it down. And I want to lay it down where I want it the strongest and the heaviest first. That way, that's where it's going to really be happening. And then from there, I can blend it off. Okay, give it that nice little transition and realistic look to it. Okay, I'm just going to bring this down, kind of dance this down, blending it off. Okay, something like that. It just kind of ramps up that. And I'll even go over some of this violet with it and just kind of settle it down a little bit more and just kind of blend in very, very subtly the white into it and over it a little bit. Kind of desaturates it down, kind of blends it in more, gives it more of a natural look. Okay, I like that. With little paint left on the brush, again, I want to go over some of this violet here. Just kind of settle that down. I want to make that very, very, very subtle. Okay, just like this. I don't know, something like that. I'm going to have some trees coming over here, you know. It's going to blend in better. Okay, things are going to happen like they should. Okay, some of that lighter value in here too. Again, I want to make this more of a horizon effect where it gets lighter. Even the cloud gets a little lighter down here. You just kind of blend that up. Do something like that. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush. And what I want to do now is I want to get our sun area. And I think before I do that, I want to block in our tree, maybe our tree line here, our mountain, as I'll call it. All right, and for that, what I'd like to do is take my number 18 angle brush to block in with, and I'd like to take some phthalo blue again. And let's see, I want to take some of this violet with it, and now I want to get some raw umber into that. I want to darken this down. Okay. Thinking kind of something like this, kind of a dark value in a way. And let's see, I want to go kind of something like this. Okay, just kind of getting this kind of deal to happen here. Let's see, let's bring this down right in here. Okay, a little bit dark there. Let's see, maybe I'll change that a little bit like this. See that? Okay, and maybe it's got more of a blue kind of a hue to it, okay, because it's still kind of in the distance. Okay, I'm thinking something more like this. Now, let's see. Without cleaning, I'm going to take now some raw umber. Let's get some yellow now for a very dark army green. Okay, when you add yellow and raw umber, you get that nice green hue. And then let's get some blue to get that more green look into it, okay? So I'm thinking Yeah, something kind of like that. And because it's a different value, see that? I don't have to worry about separating with a line. Okay, I can just go right up to it and just kind of break it up. It's all good. Yeah, I'm gonna have bushes sticking out. It's whatever. Okay, and notice I'm breaking it up a little bit. I'm just kind of getting this brush kind of thing happening. I'm not really trying to make brush really yet. It's just, I don't know. No hard lines in landscapes, especially. I say no hard lines. It's all about bushes and sticks and twigs and all the things. Okay, hard lines just kind of take away from that, I think. So I just want to break it up. Okay, smoothing this out, getting the canvas more covered. Okay. All right, lovely. Ain't that nice? I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush now. And what I'd like to do now is in the water area, it's going to be my darkest base color value. Okay, keyword base, not final color. Okay, I just want to get that down for shadow. I'm going to take some raw umber and phthalo blue. Essentially that makes black, as you know. As I've said in other videos, it's a very dark Payne's gray. And in landscapes, I don't like permanent black because it's not as natural. And as I've said before, if I could name colors, I would name this natural black. And maybe there's already a color named that. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. Maybe there is a color like that already made. I'm not sure. But that's what I'm going to call it. Natural black. Blue and raw umber. Just a little less blue than raw umber, but about equal parts almost. Okay, right here. Just want to block in for our river. So there it is, our water, our brush areas, mountain and more brush within it, but it's blue because, in a landscape, just kind of brings the sky down on it. And I think we got a pretty good setup here now. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush. Okay, again with my number 2 nylon flat brush, I'm going to go and make our sun here that's popping over our horizon here, over our mountain, lighting everything up very beautifully. I'm going to take some titanium white. And I think I want just a teeny bit of yellow. Not much at all, just barely. Okay, this is going to be our sun here. And let's go like this. And when it comes to yellow, it's important to let the sky dry first because, as you know, yellow and blue will make a green sky. We don't want that. Maybe you do, I don't know. But I don't want that today. So I'm thinking something like right in here. Okay, I'm just going to apply this right here. And I want to take this and just kind of do something like this number right here. Okay. Here we're going to give this nice sun coming over right about here. Okay, just want to put that about right here. Just this little half circle, little, what do you call this? Arc. Yeah, that's what it's called, an arc. I'll put this arc right here. Okay, see that? Already looks like a sun already. Isn't that nice? All right, so I'm going to wipe most of that paint off the brush because what I want to do now is I want to take, again, some of that violet and let's go some of that red. Okay, just a little bit. Let's see. Red, okay, that'll take over if I let it. Okay, not too much. Let's take a little yellow to warm that just a bit. Okay, let's see here. A little more violet into that, maybe something kind of like this. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Something like that. Okay, very little paint on the brush. And I just want to go just barely touching the canvas. I'm not bending the bristles at all. And I just want to creep this over right here. This is really going to make this shine and glow and do all these wonderful things, okay? Just like this. See that? It already starts to look like it's happening. And actually, you know what I want to do? I want to take this, Okay, I'm not going to clean. It's all good. No cleaning necessary. I'm just going to take some more of that yellow and white color here, and I'm going to take this out a little bit further, like out here. Okay, watch that. Just like that. Okay. And that really gives it a nice shine and glow that way too. See that? Okay, and I'm just going to sort of fade that off, just kind of right where it's at. I don't really want to take it too far into that blue, because then I'll have to take the blue again and mess with the gradients between this and cover this up. And I can totally do it. I mean, it's possible, but yeah, just kind of mess around a little bit more than I want to. Okay, and I'll go back down over this just a little bit, just to get that fade and that blend. See that? Ain't that nice? Okay, something kind of like that. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush now. I'm going to leave that there for now because I think I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So again, I don't do these and then practice and then come back. I do this all raw and figure it out as I go. So I'm going to leave that because what I want to do first is do a tree line and all the bushes sticking up in the distance before I bring the light over that. Because if I bring this now and then do the tree line, I'm going to be going into this light, and then I'm going to be covering it up and getting rid of it, and then I'll have to come back again with it. So we don't really want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to let that chill for a minute. So I'm going to take my number 6 filbert brush. It's got a nice edge on it, and you can use a nice flat brush or angle brush if you want. That's got a good edge on it. I'm just going to take it for the purposes of its edge because it is fairly new, and I'm going to do these little tree things here. So in the distance, I'm going to take, let's see, some of this blue, some of this raw umber. Okay, kind of something like this. Not too dark. And just want to start kind of dancing the edge of this, kind of like this. See this? Okay, just kind of doing these little tree things. See, just kind of breaking it up. Just kind of see that in the distance there. It just kind of starts making the indication of distant things already. Okay, it's not a super big mighty mountain in the long distance, but you know, it's close enough where we can see these trees in the distance here. Okay, maybe we're going for a hike today and we're gonna go fish in the river down here for some salmon, trout, or whatever you want. Okay, maybe it's bass. It's your painting, it's your story, make one up. All right, so see that? Just breaking that up just like that. I'm also going to kind of bring that down over this a little bit just to kind of give it more of a natural look. See that? I don't really want this hard dark line too much. Okay, so again, it's just a little raw umber, a little burnt umber. Or sorry, why did I say burnt umber? Phthalo blue and raw umber. Okay, let me gather myself here. And let's see, maybe just a teeny bit of white. Okay, so it's not super dark, okay, but kind of dark. Okay, and I'm wiggling, pulling through. I get a nice chiseled edge. See that? Nice razor sharp edge. That's exactly what I want, and I want to be able to dance this because I want some crispy in focus, kind of detailed, but in the distance kind of way stuff here. Okay, to really show some brush happening here. So just gonna go down and kind of break this up. Anything goes, you know, there's no right or wrong. It's just a landscape. Maybe there's a tree there. Maybe there's, you know, if I tap like this, maybe there's a bush. Maybe there's some bushes, see, like that. And I think what I want to do actually is take a little bit more blue and maybe some violet. And I think a little bit of white. Okay. I got some raw umber in there already to dull that down to give it that realistic look to it. Okay. And yeah, something like this. Okay, I want this kind of bluish hue. If you ever notice when you're in a, you know, out in nature and you look into the distance, the sky seems to kind of swallow up things in the distance, and trees, they kind of have that blue look to them in a way, you know what I mean, when the distance. So I want to get more of that blue involved on here, and then watch. It just starts to look more natural. Okay, it's just just more like, okay, I don't know. It just kind of, these little things, I tell you, they make a big difference. Big difference on whether or not it's going to look real or what, you know. Okay, just gonna give that a peel. Okay, so just kind of doing something like that. See that off in the distance, these small little tiny trees. And then what I like to do is get a little teeny bit of water, because it helps with crisp lines when you got a little water on your brush. And again, getting that chiseled edge, because now what I want to do, like in this area here, is I just kind of want to show some distant pine trees, or, you know, redwoods or whatever these are. Okay, in your story, make it up. It's whatever you want them to be. And okay, something like this. See this? Nice little trees happening here. Okay, I have a number 4 natural flat bristle brush. These natural bristles are also good because they're frayed out to do some foliage and brush and stuff in the distance. So I'm gonna go with that. And what I want to do is I want to think about working in layers, because that's very important when it comes to depth and dimension and distance, especially in a landscape. So I don't want to cover this whole thing up, just go ta 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 ta, you know, all over the place with the same thing. And if I do that, of course, this isn't going to look like a hill that's got different planes with distance. It's just going to look like one big hill with everything right there in your face, as if you were really up close, instead of this beautiful distant, you know, view that everybody wants to see. So I got to think about that. And so I'm going to work very, or not precise so much, but just very methodically, and think about where I want to lay things before I move on, and how I'm going to play these in here. And it's fairly quite simple. I'm just going to start with some raw umber, and I'm going to get some yellow for that army green. Okay. And I'm going to tap. Okay, let's get a little white, actually, a little bit more raw umber. I want to tap this because that's really going to open up the bristles. Okay, I want to get a little bit of phthalo blue into that. Okay, so I'm looking for kind of this green value here. Okay, yeah, something like that. Okay, I want to tap it and really open up these bristles. See that? And I'm going to start over here. And I just want to think about maybe working in this wedge area here. See that? I'm going to make an imaginary line right here that is this triangle piece here. Boom, boom, right here. Because in here, this is going to be further back, and it's going to show some hills and dimension, not just one big giant hill that I'm looking at up close with everything the same. So I want to do it kind of where I'm just going to, you know, kind of tap these little things in here. See this? And just gonna sort of lay those in. Okay, just kind of do these little kind of indications of some pines here, or redwoods, or whatever they are. Just trees. We'll just say trees. Okay, because I mean, if I keep it neutral, then it kind of puts it out there for however you want to make it. All right, so let's get a little bit more raw umber into that. Maybe a little yellow. Okay, not too much. Maybe a little bit of white just to have it show up a bit. Okay, tapping it and getting those bristles kind of frayed out so I can kind of work these little things in here. Okay. Okay, something kind of like that. And let's see. It's got a little orange in there, and I want to add a little bit more of this army green. Actually, I don't want orange just yet. Okay, these are in the distance. Just kind of do something like that. Just something in the distance. Again, it's not too much detail. Okay, just kind of getting that triangular piece kind of put in right there. All right, and let's see. I'm gonna go again. Let's go raw umber. Let's go some of this yellow. Okay, let's go a little blue. Okay, kind of this green value here. I want to go back on top of these. See that? Change it up. Oh, good. Change it, change it, change it. Okay, something like that. I know it looks kind of weird right now. It's all good. Now without cleaning, I just want to take a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. Okay, something kind of like that. Maybe a little bit of white just to bring it up a bit. Okay, I want to go these orange values now. And what I want to do is kind of come up here and kind of do these little trees and bushes in the distance. See this? Okay, just kind of start planting these things in here. Okay, just kind of tapping. If something's not right, take this blue. I tell you, cover it up. It's all good. A perfect place to practice and see what brush you want to use and what you prefer. All right. Someone let me know in the comments, if you would, please, what brush you think is the best for doing these kind of foliage, distant things. And I'm always looking to learn myself, even as I teach, because I'm always looking for, even if I know how to do something really well, maybe there's another way to do it. And it just helps to know how to do things more than one way. I think that's just really cool, and it adds to the quiver of knowledge and, you know, what you have. And maybe you want to do it different ways. Maybe you can do it better different ways. It's always, I think it's cool to know how to do something in different ways. Okay, because, you know, I think that's cool. I think it just really expands the world of freedom and joy in painting, and maybe some days you want to do it differently for different reasons or whatever. But, you know, I like to learn as much as I can. I'm always looking for new stuff and new ways. Okay, so just getting a little bit brighter now. And as you can see, just kind of tapping these things in. All right, just say something like that for a minute. Okay, let's see. All right, now I'm just gonna get it up there so I can work with something. All right, so okay, so as I come this way a little bit further, I want to go, let's see, a little bit more raw umber and phthalo blue, I think. Okay, something, let's see, a little bit of white, just something that I can that can show up a little bit better. And let's go over here. Okay, and this is all going to look better and come together, of course, when I get all the foreground stuff going and popping. That's going to look really sweet. But right now, I just want to get this stuff laid in and just kind of have something that's got the indication of what's going on, because it's going to become really obvious when I start getting more things played in here. All right, so now what I want to do is take a little bit of phthalo blue and raw umber. Okay, more phthalo blue. Let's get some white now. And I did not clean my brush. Okay, it's all good. Let's see. A little bit more white. Okay, so something kind of like that, maybe a little dulled down. And light's going to be playing over this too, so I want to give it the indication of some light kind of happening maybe in here a little bit. So let's see. I'm actually going to clean that brush. I want to get that orange out of there a little bit, actually, and get it more to that raw umber and phthalo blue look. Okay, let's get some white in there. The phthalo blue this time is just to dull that blue back just a bit. Okay, there we go. Something kind of like that. So it's a little different than this. See that? That's why I didn't think I needed to clean, because I had a little orange in there and I was like, well, whatever, but I want it more cooler over here instead of warmer like this. So I got that orange out of there by cleaning my brush and reloading. So I'll go back over this. See this? It cools that down. Okay, and I'm gonna tap it and pet it and do these things. See this? Break this up. Okay, just kind of do these things. It's really gonna give the indication of just kind of brush in the distance and breaks in the mountain, kind of the mountainside here. All right, let's see, maybe something down in here. I'm just kind of thinking where I want this. Okay, something like that. Maybe there's some of that over here. Kind of breaking this all up. Okay, just adding these values in, just letting them all play together, doing these indications, and it just will start to create the distant brush and this, you know, realistic looking mountainside here. Okay, I'll bring some of this value up into here even. Okay, just breaking it up, getting it up in there. Okay, all good. Something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush to get that blue out of there. I want to take a little yellow and some white and maybe some of this dull orange stuff in there. It's got a little bit of that burnt umber in there to dull it back. Okay, so it's kind of like this. Okay, opening up those bristles, and just here and there, not everywhere. I don't need to clean because I'm going to take a little bit of this raw umber and phthalo blue together. Okay, and let's see, it's a little bit darker. Okay, and again, I want to show some more tree indication stuff kind of right in here. Okay, especially where this lighter stuff is, it's going to contrast off of that and kind of show some light play happening here. Okay, see, like that right here maybe. Okay, see, so some brush. Yeah, things. And again, not doing the whole thing, just thinking about layers here, trying to get that distance going. Trying to get that depth and dimension within the mountain, not just one big part of a hill in front of us that's we're really up close looking at, but all this distance and all the cool things happening. Okay, so I'll do some of that in here. Just kind of tap and dance that around. Okay, something kind of like that. And I'll even go in here with some of that dark and add it in here, just here and there, not everywhere. Let that all play together. Okay, make some shadow in here. And I want to add some more of that right in here. Okay, now I'm going to go back to that yellow and orange value mix here with some burnt umber into that. Okay, and this time I don't want it as bright. Okay, when you got different shades and tones, it shows light and shadow play, of course. And right here now, I want to go, okay, kind of in here, start showing these things happening. Now, as I separate these, I want dark between these and these to show the planes. See that? I want to be able to not, because if I bring them together again, it won't show the depth. I'll lose the depth and dimension and the distance in that way. All right, now maybe just a little bit more yellow. Okay, and I want to go in here and just kind of show just a few things, okay? Not much at all. Just kind of breaking these up. Little leaves, little things in the distance. Okay, just kind of like that. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and wipe a lot of that paint off the brush. And what I want to do is go back to that raw umber and phthalo blue mixture together. Okay, for that darker value. And I want to go kind of like this. Okay, to kind of show shadow and kind of some tree kind of stuff happening in between this plane and that plane. Kind of break this up, see, like this. Okay, covering up some of this, but not all of it, of course. Okay, just kind of bringing that down right in here. Okay, see, we got little shadows in between. That really breaks it up. It really brings depth and dimension in there pretty good. Okay. And I'll get some of that. Let's see, a little bit more of that value on my brush. Okay. Okay, more brush there. All good. Super, super. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush. A little bit more yellow now into this orange mixture here. I want it more yellow. Okay, kind of something like this. Okay, getting all these wonderful fall colors up in here. Super awesome. And I want to make this little thing come down about maybe right in here, just kind of in this area right here. So I'm just going to, of course, not cover this dark shadow. That's my best friend right there to bring layers and to show the difference on the distance here. So okay, look, just tapping away. Okay, going like this. Okay, changing up the flavor a little bit. I've added a little teeny bit of orange. You can see a little different here. Okay, I want to mix these up. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down in here. Yeah, maybe some of that's over here too. See that I'm gonna light some of these up too. Not much, not all of them, but I'm gonna add some in here. Yeah, that are further away. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off now. And let's see, one thing I'd like to do, I'd like to take some of this orange again and I'd like to take a little bit more burnt umber into that to darken that. Okay, so see that it's not as vibrant, and I want to mix that up. I want to add some of that back in here. Okay, see that? Just adds more stuff, see that? And just really adds variety and gives it more fullness. Now I'm going to add a little bit more blue without cleaning and some raw umber, okay, for a darker value. Not too dark, but I want to go in here now and kind of break some of this up, okay, with some shadow. I'm going to go with my number 2 flat brush here. Okay, get a little bit more precision and really kind of land these bristles more where I want them. And I'm going to go with some more of this orange and yellow here. Okay, just kind of something like that. Let's get a little white into that. I want to get some highlight stuff going. There we go. Okay. And let's go Just using the corner of the brush. Let's see, we get more details now because of this base stuff underneath. I can build on top of it now. And I can let some of this other messy stuff kind of show through, and it just really kind of brings it in more full. See that? And now I can really get in here and kind of detail some more things as we get closer. Okay, see? So we can do anything we want to do. I'm going to come up here and far away, just kind of do some of these things here just a little bit. See that? It adds a little bit more detail and shows distance also. Okay, ain't that nice? Okay, just building it up, building it up. It's all about building up the layers. They get better every time you put a new layer down. Everything, all the effects, all of the everything. Okay. And let's see. I think now, without cleaning, I want to just take just yellow and some white maybe. Okay, I want to go real vibrant here with something. Okay, let's get some fall stuff really popping here. So right here. Okay. Want to really brighten up some things here. Then maybe there's something right here that's coming out. Yeah. See, just tapping with the corner of the brush. This number 2 nylon flat brush, it's really working good with this. Okay, really getting it in here. Okay, look at that, just kind of lighten up like that. Isn't that nice? I'll even sneak some of that in, maybe here and there, but not everywhere, just a teeny bit in some spots. Okay, hey, out in the distance there, we don't know, something like that. Okay, now let's go again. I want to get some of this yellow and some of this white. Okay, let's get our yellow and orange and white. All right, something like that. Okay, a vibrant orange. And let's see, I want to leave some gap here, okay, for some distant things. And I just want to, again, just using the corner of the brush. Covering it up if I don't like it. All good. All good. Okay, I'm going to come down with it like this. Okay, just kind of doing this. Let's see, maybe a little bit more yellow, maybe a little bit more white. Okay. And I just want to all right, let's do something like this. Let's get a little bit of red now. Gotta have red in there. Okay, this nice little fiery little deal here, and we'll see what we get with this. wipe most of that paint off the brush. I'm gonna go back into this yellow. Okay. And just want to go all right, and if you're finding that as you tap this it doesn't look very crisp, you just need another layer. That's it. Because again, the more layers you build up and the more you load your brush up, get a little water on it, and just tap the corner, it's just going to lay on top of that smudge and become more crisp, and that smudge is going to be your friend because it's going to have the more crisp stuff on top of it, and it's going to work together with that, and it's going to make it look like it should, and it's going to look nice. So keep on keeping on. And now what I'd like to do is just kind of randomly throw some bushes in here and really make this start to happen a little bit. So I'm going to work this way and kind of do some more things up in here. So I think what I'm going to do is continue with, actually, I'm going to get some orange and some yellow together. You just kind of keep going with these values here. Okay, these nice fall, beautiful values. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to sort of kind of do these little things here. I'm going to start getting a little bit bigger. Okay, we're getting closer to us. So just going to start doing these kinds of things. Okay, see, little trees and things happening, and okay, stuff like that. Okay, loading up the brush again and just continuing on. Without cleaning, I'm going to take some blue and some green, or some yellow for some green. Let's go like this. Okay, nice green value here. And let's put some of that in here. Okay, so I think I'm going to try this number 6 flat brush, and I'm going to go in here and really start hitting some things here. So what I'd like to do now is take some of this red and some burnt umber together, maybe a little yellow to that too to warm that up. Oh, not that much. Okay. It's all good. Okay, let's take some white just to bring it up, maybe a little orange into that too. Okay, I'm looking for this firecracker kind of color here. Let's see, maybe something like this. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to start coming in here and just kind of doing this. See this? This is some foreground stuff here that's going to start up here and come all the way down, and I want to really make this nice. Just kind of really just tap this, use the corner of the brush. Okay, just kind of do something like this. Okay, it's gonna be a nice big tree coming down this way, and I like that color. Okay, I'm gonna get a little teeny bit of water on this brush, not much, and I'm gonna continue down. See that? Yeah, look at how much better that is. See, it just gets it really crisp and nice like this. And of course, I want to spare my cloud here because I don't want it all to be covered up, but I want to show the tree here. And I'm just gonna keep bringing this down. Okay, and so now without cleaning, I'm going to take a little bit more burnt umber into that. Okay, kind of like this. Okay, I want some darker stuff here. Actually, I think I'll take some raw umber into that because I want it darker. Okay, let's get some shadow on that and watch. I go in here. Okay, just really mixing that up. See that? Okay, I'll get a little bit more of this raw umber in there. And let's see right here. I want more shadow, okay, in some areas. Really gonna get this to contrast and pop. Yeah, see that? Just like that. And again, using the corner of the brush. Okay, just adding some variety in there. Gotta have the shadows in there because that shows the fullness of the depth and dimension and all that. Without that, we don't have anything but flat and boring if we don't have the shadow in there contrasting with those other ones. Always got to have darks in there. Okay, something kind of like that. Now back to some of this yellow. I want to get a good scoop of that and just a teeny bit of orange into that. Okay, maybe a little bit more, just a teeny bit. Let's get some more yellow. Let's get just a little bit of burnt umber just to dull that down. Okay, yeah, something kind of like that. Okay, nice fall color here. Super, super awesome. Okay, and what I want to do now is I want to take this value now and go and again, I'm going to take some burnt umber to that. Okay, and let's put some shadow in there. See, I want to clean this brush again, I think. More of this orangey value now, less yellow, more orangey. We're gonna really want to really bring this in and make this full. Okay, more yellow in there. Okay, something like that, that orangey fall color. And I'm gonna go in here again and maybe I'll have some more red. Okay, take some more red into that. So mix this up, have some fun, you know, add some reds, add some oranges, add some shadows, play it back and forth, you know, anything goes. There's no right or wrong. See with this red, look at this. Ain't that nice? Super swell, I love it. So much fun, you can just change this up however you want. Take some yellow again. Okay, I'm going to go into that orangey color a little bit. Let's get some white for some opacity just so it's not so transparent. Okay, that's all. And you get this brighter yellow in here, and I just want to go kind of in here and just kind of detail, okay, again with the corner of the brush in some areas, some of these specific bushes here. Okay. One thing I'd like to do now on this is take that nice reddish orange color here. I want to get some titanium white into that now. Gotta have highlights. We didn't do highlights. I just did some general color and some shadows, but now watch. when I get the highlights on there. Now I'm gonna pop some of this out of here. Boom. Oops. My hand's sticking to the canvas here. All right. See that? I'm gonna get some of this to play. These highlights, you gotta have them. Absolutely gotta have them. Okay. Just like that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush. And let's get some more of that green. Let's go yellow, blue. Oh, let's go. Let's see. There we go. Let's get a little raw umber into that. I want to dull that back. Okay, there we go. Something like that. And I really want to go in here and without cleaning now, I'm going to take some yellow and let's get some white. Okay, got to have the highlights. Always, always highlights. One thing I'd like to do now is take a little bit of yellow and white. Okay, maybe a little bit more white. And I want to add some really nice bright highlights on these. Okay, just tapping some of these leaves. Okay, not all of them, of course. Okay, now I'm going to take my script liner brush here, lots of water on it, and what I want to do is take some phthalo blue and some raw umber together. Okay, for that made black, okay, dark value here, dark, dark, dark. Okay, pulling through as I turn it, bring it to a nice sharp tip, and I want to go in here and want to just add some twigs and some sticks. See that? Okay, gotta have those. Definitely, definitely need those. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take our sun and just infiltrate this whole thing right here. So what I'm actually going to do is I think I'm going to take my number 9 natural round bristle brush to do these gradients and do these really cool things. So with that said, I'm going to take some white. Okay, just white, and actually a little bit of yellow that's already in there. Okay, just a little yellow, mostly white. I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush. I want to go in here and I want to go up to some of this pinkish haze up here. Okay, like this, and just kind of blend that off into this. Okay, kind of like that. And let's see, I want to go kind of really bright out here. See this? Really want to light up the sky here with this bright, nice bright haze. Okay, see, just like this. I want to fade it off. I want to fade it off and just really give this heavenly look here. Okay, just like that. Boom. And now I want to bring that down. Let's see, over this. Not too much. And I want to go very light pressure. Okay, and just kind of make this like glowing little deal here. Okay, just a little bit of paint and I can see right through this still, and it's going to swallow up a lot of this stuff now. And I've created much for this light now to play and have fun and come in here and really set this off and illuminate this whole thing. See that? Boom, I love it. All right, now we're gonna get real cool here in a minute. Okay. All right. Now, I want to take this value. Okay, just a little bit of it. Okay, just a teeny bit of paint. And what I want to do is bring this in like this. See this? I really want to bring this nice glow and this haze really come in here really good. Okay, just like that. Thinking just a little bit of white. Just a teeny bit. I mean, barely, okay? Anything at all. And I want to start kind of zinging these little things out. See, like this. I don't want to go too hard. Just a little bit, because if I go too hard, then it's going to look like too much white that got kind of splattered out instead of some natural light. And I have a new motto for us. If your white does not look like light, something is not right. Okay, how do you like that? I just sitting there one day thinking about it, and I was like, you know, if I put too much white all at once, then it's just going to look like a bunch of white paint instead of light that's happening and illuminating. So anyway, it just kind of came. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought that might be something helpful and something to really think about. And the key is not to go super bright with white all at once. And we avoid that because we don't want a bunch of white paint. We want light. We want light hitting and lighting it all up. Okay, so let's get some of that in here. And again, very little paint on the brush. And this natural bristle brush is super for this. Look at that. And you can really bring in these light rays super well. And look, I can widen it and go like this if I want. Okay, with less paint on the brush, I can scrub a little harder. And that's what I want to do, is dry brush this in. Okay, kind of do something like that. Just really make this come to life. Okay, super awesome. All right, so just gonna hit this up. A little bit of paint. I can always add more, but I'm telling you, if I add too much, now I got to go back and really change it up and take some time and fix it, and you know, all that stuff. But and I say just a little bit at a time, you can really get this popping and shining super bright. See that? You can hear how hard I'm scrubbing. Very little paint on the brush, hardly any at all. It's almost like there's none. It's almost like just a trace of the paint. And with this hard scrub, it gives me that effect so well. Lovely. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I think what I want to do, I want to add a little bit more of this white, and it's got a little bit of that yellow in there. Okay, just a little bit of paint on the brush. I really want to take this out. Okay, a little bit further. Kind of do this number here, see, and get real bright up here. Okay, and have this little zinger up there like that. See, maybe, yeah. While I have this paint on the brush, I just want to glaze that over and really light this up. Okay, kind of do something like this. Kind of bring this in. Okay, really do this stuff here. And I just want to take just white, and I want to go super bright in here. And I want to fade it off into this pinkish haze. But I don't want to get rid of that pinkish haze, because then I'll get rid of my glow and that wonderful brilliance. And we don't want to do that. We want this to really be vibrant as possible. Okay, All right, I love that. Okay, I'm absolutely loving this. And I want to take just some of this and just glaze over just some of this. See this? This is going to give it a nice, what do you call it, a haze. Kind of some or mist in the distance. Okay, a little bit more white. Just barely any at all. And let's see, I mean barely any. I want to go over this and this. Okay, just really lighten this up in here. Okay. All right. Something that, I mean, just look at how that just lights that up. And man, we are in business. All right, loving it. I'm gonna clean that brush off now. I'm gonna go back to my number 2 nylon flat brush now. And I'm gonna take some of this white. Okay, just pure titanium white. And what I wanna do is, I wanna go back in here on the clouds, just right here too, in this area where it's really getting struck hard by this light right here. Bam. Okay, look at that. Really lighten that up, okay? And also, just pure titanium white with that number 2 flat. And not too much paint, but just right here. I want to go real bright, okay? I know I put some yellow into that white, but I want to take pure titanium white and right here, just fade that off. Super light pressure with my brush. I'm just glazing the canvas right now as I get out here into this pink haze. Just barely any pressure. I'm just sweeping the bristles across the canvas. I'm not bending them at all. I can even use my finger to blend that out. And I'm going to wipe the rest of that paint off my brush because I just want to work with the rest of that paint on the outside right here and just blend that off into that pink haze. Okay, isn't that nice? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Okay, something like that. Boom, now we're getting super awesome, really glorious, this nice bright shine, and totally what I'm looking for there. Okay, I'm gonna clean that brush off now. I'd like to take a little bit more of this violet and red. Okay, just a little bit, and some white. Okay. That nice glow shine there, okay? Barely any paint on the brush whatsoever. And I'm gonna go in here. And I'm just gonna glaze this nice color right here. See this? Let's just do this. Watch what happens. This is gonna ramp this up to another level here. Okay, I'm even gonna throw some of that part way into these sun rays, but not all the way. Just a little. Okay. And I'll tell you, it just does something. Look at that. Okay, I think that just sets that off in such a wonderful way. So awesome. Okay, I'm gonna put some of that right here on the cloud. Okay, I'm not gonna cover up all the white, but just where this value in the white meet, I wanna go just kind of glaze that in right there. See that? Just kind of gives it that glow. All right, super. All right, let's go a little bit of that here. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush now. And what I wanna do is start making some more bushes here in this area. This is my shadow. This is my best friend here. And we're about to become really close because I'm gonna use that to pop some foliage off and it's gonna get really good. So I'm gonna go back to that yellow and some orange and some burnt umber. Okay, just like that. And a little bit of white. Okay, and I want some more yellow into that actually. Okay, something like that. And just want to start Kind of doing some more bush stuff here. Okay, this is going to be more closer to us. And I'm going to go again. It's kind of something like this. Okay, some trees. Did I say bushes? Trees? I don't know. Whatever. Stuff. All right. I'm going to go kind of like this. I don't know. There's some cool things happening here. Okay, I'm going to actually hold off on this. I'm going to take my same brush because I can still use the corner of it and do smaller areas and bigger areas. So it's kind of a universal brush here, I find. And I'm going to go in here and just kind of critique some of this. And what I want to do is take some of this yellow, some of this orange and yellow. I tend to call out the colors that I'm putting together, but kind of name the one first before I go to it. Like I'll be like yellow and then orange and whatever. You know what I'm saying. Okay, I just don't want any confusion. All right, so I'm gonna go a little brown. This is burnt umber into that orange and yellow mixture here. Okay, and actually I want some more yellow than that. Okay, kind of something like that. Just kind of this, let's see, let's dull that more. Okay, something like that. Not too vibrant. It's in the distance out here a little bit more. And let's see, what I want to do is just kind of work some of this in here. Okay, just kind of doing these kind of things. Maybe going over some of this. Okay, just kind of mixing these in here. See that? I'm just kind of playing these different colors in here. Okay, just tapping away again, using the corner of the brush as always. So just wanted to jump over here, okay, just a little bit. Now I'm going to jump back over here and getting a little bit more yellow on my palette. Now I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to go into some of that orangey brown color with it, okay, just to dull the yellow down a bit. And let's see, I just kind of get this general value for now. And once again, I'm going to go like this, and this isn't part of another hill. This is just, again, I blocked this in for more foliage right here. So this is all trees and bushes and just shadow color again. So I want to make this stuff go past it, okay, kind of like that. See that? Because it's just shadow underneath. And let's see, I want to get, okay, so this is kind of in front of this haze, this glow of the sun. So I'm going to be kind of in front of this a little bit. Okay, that shows the distance a little bit like that. And I'm just going to continue like this. Okay, leaving some openings, doing some individual bushes like that. Not bringing everything all together. Okay, I want these separations. I'm going to get a little bit of phthalo blue to that for some green. Okay, let's get a little white just to brighten that up just a bit. Okay, so changing the value. And let's see, I want to mix this in. I'm going to go a little bit, let's see, let's get some raw umber into that. I want to change the flavor of this green. Okay, I want to get a little white into that. Okay, a little bit different than this, as you can see. And I want to come down here. Okay, something like that. Now let's see. I don't know if I need to clean. Let's see. I don't think I need to. I'm going to take some yellow. If I do, I will. But I like to keep my brush loaded and just kind of go back and forth. Yeah, so no cleaning. I'm just going to take some yellow and white. All right, and we'll see. I want to go a little bit. in here a little. Okay, that, just like that. And maybe we'll go a little bit out here where the sun's going to be hitting more out here. Okay, just kind of here and there, not everywhere. See how that just kind of pops that out of there, and it really gives it all that dimension and all that wonderful stuff. Okay. All right. Lovely. And let's see. I want to get a little orange into this, just a little. Okay. I want to go down here, kind of do this number there. Okay. Leaving these openings here, those are your, like, again, those are your best friends. You don't want to kill that dark. That dark is magic. That gives our depth dimension and all the wonderful things that we want to see here. I think I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush, because now what I want to do, I want to make a nice pine tree or evergreen that comes down in front of some of this here. So with that same brush, I'm going to now take some phthalo blue and raw umber. Okay, a little bit more raw umber than blue to get that dark value, that really nice, what do I call it, natural black, as I love to call it. Okay, like that. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to kind of go something like this. See that? We'll have it go back behind here a little bit. Okay, so now I want to take my script liner brush here. I want to add some branches on here before I start adding foliage. So lots of water on this. I'm going to go back to that blue and that brown. Okay. Get that nice natural dark black color here, that dark Payne's gray. Okay, a lot of water again. You want it in the consistency of ink for sure. Okay, pulling through as I turn it, brings it to a nice sharp tip on that. And I'm just going to start kind of going something like this. See this? Just making these little branches, okay? Okay, something like that. Just getting some branches going here. You know what? Maybe, I know, I'm gonna go these little things, and I'm gonna go in there now with some foliage. I'm gonna clean this script liner off now, and back to my, what I say with this, my number 6 nylon flat brush. Okay, and I'm gonna go into this green that I made. It was some blue, some yellow, and some raw umber to dull that. It's just nice army realistic forest foliage green. I don't know, is that another name for a color? Foliage green? I would make that up. I don't know. Maybe I could get paid to like make up names for colors and have my own brand name of paints maybe someday. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys would purchase them if I did come up with these colors. That would be kind of cool. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to use the corner of the brush here. I'm just going to go kind of more thicker like this. See this? Okay, and I want to actually go a little darker now. I'm going to get some blue and some brown into there. See, to change up the flavor just a little bit. Okay. Okay, I want to put this in front of that. Like I said, I want to cover some of that up. And I'll get some highlights and some things popping off of that, and then it'll look all right here in just a minute. Something like that. And now let's see, without cleaning, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of highlight here. Let's see, let's go a little bit of this into that. Okay, see that? Just a little bit. See, that lightens it up, changes the flavor right away. And let's see, let's go. I want to take some more of this bush color here, this orange and this yellow and burnt umber to that. Okay, something like that. And I want to go back in here and I just want to pop in just some of these little sneakers in here, these little orange little guys here, kind of in between. Okay, and I actually want to take just some of this, maybe a little yellow to that. Okay, maybe a little white, not too much. Okay, maybe something like that. And one thing I want to do is I'm going to take the blue and raw umber together. Okay, we're on an adventure here. Just doing this by hand, just doing this, you know, as we do it. Okay, I'm going to go like this and define that trunk just a little bit more like that. See that? I want to take some more of that yellow. Let's see, some of that orange. A little bit of this burnt umber, okay, or this fiery like kind of deal here, okay, and just kind of want to hit just some of this out here, okay, some of these trees. Okay, so now I'm going to go to some red, some yellow, or red, orange, yellow, sorry. Okay, a nice fiery red here. Okay, something like that. And I really want to get in here and go, let's see, a little bit of burnt umber to that because I want to darken this now. Okay, gotta have your darks and your shadows and your lights. Now just see, take some white into that, maybe some yellow. Okay, let's get a little bit more white and more yellow. Yellow really makes this vibrant and really fires it up. All right, let's go something like this. See that? Let's see. More red, more of this red. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is right here. This is it right here. Okay. And let's hit some of these highlights out here. See this? Because I want to go back to these green tones now. Let's get some yellow. Let's get some white. Okay, and let's see, a little bit more white. Going to some of this green. I want to go back to that green hue. All right, and let's hit up some of these highlights in here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this same brush. I'm gonna move on to the water now. I like to take some blue value now, a little bit of raw umber, and now I want to take some titanium white. So the raw umber now is just to dull the blue down a little bit. Okay, so I'm thinking this value right here, and just a little bit of paint, and I want to start going in here and kind of doing these things here. I'm going to start building this water up. Okay, just kind of placing this in some areas here. Let's see, I'm going to go just kind of throw this around. Okay. Okay, the river's kind of flowing through here, just kind of back in the ravine here. Just kind of like this, concave and convex. All right, shapes. Just kind of mixing it up. And of course, I want to get a little bit bigger as I come forward. Okay, so it's going to really show the distance of what's going on here. Okay, putting distance in the painting. Okay, bigger ones right there. Okay, just really just scrubbing it in a very dry brush. Again, I'm using these like natural bristles, even though this is a nylon brush. And I'm just really gonna zing this out. Now I want to leave this area open to kind of reflect some of this foliage into the water here. And I want to take some orange and some yellow. Okay, the yellow really just ramps it up, gives it that nice look to it. Okay, a little bit of burnt umber just to dull that down a bit. And what I'd like to do right here is just kind of do something like this. Okay, a little bit of focus right here, maybe. Okay, just a little bit, and it's just showing the brush and the foliage of some trees. Okay, maybe they're like over here and it's not in the painting, but it's like reflecting into the painting from stuff over here. And so I'm just gonna kind of do something like this. Okay, cover something up if it's not right, whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm thinking something like this. I'm just gonna sort of dab this in here, give the indication of tree foliage there. Okay, and now what I want to do without cleaning, just take some yellow and some white. Okay, and let's really give this a nice shine right in here. Something maybe like that, yeah. And let's see, while I'm at it with that same color, I'm also going to make these irregular shapes to show leaves floating in the water. So maybe, you know, there's something right here. And again, making these irregular shapes and having these fuzzy edges is what says that it's out of focus. Okay, some leaves fell in, of course. Gotta always definitely have that. Okay, and so I'm gonna wipe a lot of that paint off the brush, and I just kind of want to place some of this around here just to kind of show some of this reflecting off, you know, this fall stuff here. Okay, and what I'd like to do now is take some red. Okay, no cleaning. And we'll see, I'm gonna do like a leaf right here. Okay, just freehand. Just kind of do something like that. There's a leaf that fell there. That nice. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to grab a little bit more red here. About some orange to that. That really fires it up. Okay, something like that. Now, I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush. And what I want to do is take a little bit of burnt umber and maybe some raw umber too. I want it kind of dark. Okay, no cleaning. And what I'm going to do is throw that in here. See this for some shadow? Okay, just kind of something like that. Little leaf that fell in right there. Okay, I'm going to clean this brush. What I want to do is actually take some of this yellow. Okay. And let's really fire this up and make this golden. Okay, yeah, look at that. See that? Okay, just little reflection stuff there. Okay, little reflections there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush. I want to take some red. I want to take some burnt umber, or raw umber, sorry. And I want to take some white. And let's see, a little bit more raw umber to that. So I'm looking for kind of this, let's see, maybe Neapolitan ice cream kind of look, you know, when you mix your chocolate and your strawberry together a little bit. Yeah, maybe something kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just start applying these like nice little golden haze and I don't know, things that are going to happen here. This is really going to ramp this up and really make this nice. Okay, so I'm going to add these colors in right here. All right, so before I go any further here, I want to do something right in here. I'm going to take my number 8 natural round bristle brush, and I think I'm going to do is take some of this white here that's got just a teeny bit of yellow. I want barely any paint on the brush at all. Okay, and what I want to do is actually go in here and just want to go just kind of like this. Watch this. See this? Just want to push that back. I feel like this haze just kind of knocks all this back. Okay, see that? Just kind of does something, I think, yeah? Okay, something like that. I don't know. Just a little something, not a big thing, but again, these little things, they really make a difference. They come together and they make or break certain features, and I really think that that was necessary. Okay, anything you want to do though. I'm gonna go back to my number 6 nylon flat brush here. What I'm gonna do now is I want to take a little bit of titanium white. Okay, just a little bit. And let's see, I'm gonna go kind of something like this. I want to go start putting these watered, what do you call it? Bokeh kisses on the water here. I had to think about that. What am I doing? I'm doing this. Okay. So see, very little pressure with the brush. Okay, the river just kind of goes down this way and maybe turns and goes that way, or, you know, along the banks here of this hill going that way. Okay. And I'm just gonna do these smaller ones, of course, because that's distance and it gets bigger as you see here. So we want to keep that perspective alive. And of course, anything too big, I take that dark color and shrink it back by covering up some of this to make it smaller if they get too big. Okay, and a very dry brush and very little paint on the brush, because again, I want to scratch this in to make it look bokeh, blurry, out of focus. And it's all about those fuzzy edges. not the hard, crisp lines anymore. Okay, so just kind of something like this. You know, just kind of dance this around, kind of do these things just like so. Okay, I'm gonna go to my number 8 natural round bristle brush. This is gonna help me do some bokeh stuff a lot easier. Because now what I want to start doing, just want to get pure titanium white, okay? Tapping a lot of that paint off the brush, okay? Just like that. Okay, just a little bit. And let's see, I want to go start popping these bokeh kisses in here. See that? Okay, just like this. You know, even go like that. Sometimes they're circular. Okay, just doing this water stuff here. I want to go now to my number 2 nylon flat brush, and I want to take some more of this yellow, okay, and really just hit some highlights on some of the leaves here in the river here. Let's see, let's go with not all of it. I don't want to cover all this up, but watch. Okay, just some of it. Hey, letting some of those highlights kind of play off of there. Okay. And I'm going to do a little bokeh, a little circular deal here. See this? A couple of these right next to each other. All right. Lovely. Okay, let's make this sparkle and shine and zing a little bit more in here. Just a little bit of that. Okay. Boom. Just little highlight stuff, I tell you. They really take something home. All right. Just like that. Okay, maybe I'll have some of that play on this. I don't know. Okay. Okay, just gonna fade this off. It totally looks like leaves that kind of fell in here, yeah. All right, let's get a little bit of this fiery color in here. This is a little red and orange mixed together here. And let's see, I want to go in here and just kind of do something like this. Okay, another little leaf there. Maybe there's one off the canvas right here. Okay, all these cool things. All right, awesome, awesome. Getting that established. Okay, now I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna get some burnt umber into that yellow just to dull it back. Okay, and let's see, I want to get some of that playing in here. Okay, just to kind of change up the flavor. See that? Okay. Okay, just some things happening. I'll play in some of this, or even on this leaf here. All right, just some things like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush off now. Same brush, I wanna take some of this burnt umber and red together, and I wanna get a little white. Okay, let's get some more burnt umber to that, okay? Something kind of like that, and I wanna go in here a little bit and kind of work some of this in. Actually, let me get a little raw umber than that. I wanna kind of change the flavor on that. Okay, a little white just to bring it up just a bit. All right, maybe some more burnt umber into that. There we go. Okay, more of this brownish color. Okay, now let's get really cool here. I'm gonna take, with a clean brush and dry, I'm gonna take just pure titanium white now. And let's see, just a little bit of paint. And I just want to hit these things here, okay? And as I do this, I don't want to take over all this fuzzy stuff. I just want to kind of do this. See that? I want to leave this fuzzy stuff around it. Okay? So, something like that. Here's another trick too. If I want to make these solid lines, because some of them are solid and don't have fuzzy lines, I can take and just turn the bristle. See this? And now we have one with solid lines like that. See that versus these fuzzy ones. Okay, another change up there. Totally cool. You can mix this up because sometimes in the bokeh world, you'll have these ones with solid lines with these bokeh lights here. Okay, just gives it more variety, gives it more realism, or really draws the eye in. Just takes it to a new level that way, okay? Okay, so I went ahead and signed, as you can see here, and I went ahead and changed a few things, just kind of added some more shape to this, just kind of played around, added some more red and a little burnt umber, okay, on the sides here to give it some extra glow. So anything you want to do, totally go for this. With all this dark background, you can totally change anything, knock it back, and it's a perfect piece for practicing landscapes and all of the different foliage with the brush. And I'll be honest, I don't do a whole lot of landscapes, you can probably tell from my channel, but I do want to get more into it, and I'm still critiquing a lot of it, but it was very forgiving and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you did too. Let me know down below how this went and any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer anything, and I plan to do more landscapes in the future. And so with that said, guys, give this one a shot, and if you're new, please subscribe. That helps me to keep bringing you guys this content, and I appreciate you guys so very much. And so with that, I want to wish you guys a happy fall, and as always, a happy painting to you.